Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can I please ask you to rise for the singing of the national and AU anthems? Thank you very much. You may be seated. Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, His Worship Gabriel Kanyanga, the Mayor of Rundu, Honorable Nico Dumba, the Councillor of the Rundu Town Council, all regional and local authority councillors present, Ms. Otilia Shinduvi, Regional Coordinator of the SWAPO Party, and other leaders of the political parties present here, representatives of the traditional leaders, Mr. Geraldton Ilarius, Chairperson of the NCCI Rundu Branch, Mr. Sakius Kapenda, the Deputy Director of the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, Ms. Alexia Ovega from NAMRA, Mr. Phineas Shinyala from the Ministry of Industries and Mines, distinguished business community, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Once again, good morning from this chilly town of Rundu. I respond to a name called Rino Muranda, and I'm responsible for stakeholder relations at the Namibia Investment Promotion Development Board. This morning, I have the privilege to be the Director of Proceedings to ensure the smooth facilitation of our program for the Ministerial Regional Engagements by the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, as well as the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, and the business community of Rundu, or KAVANGO East in general. Let me take this opportunity to also welcome our viewers online as we are live streaming this important engagement. This live streaming is made possible through a smart partnership between the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, as well as the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC. We want to thank them to ensure that no one gets left out of these important engagements and that people are able to follow these proceedings from everywhere, whether it's the comfort of their houses, whether it's in the northern part, southern part, or whether it's beyond the borders of Namibia. So why are we here? We are here today because the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, in conjunction with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, is undertaking these regional engagements with the business community that are designed to facilitate Namibia's integration into the continental framework under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. These engagements serve as a critical platform for dialogue between government, officials, and the private sector, including the SMEs, aimed at fostering mutual understanding, identification of export-ready businesses, and aligning policy measures to support Namibia's participation in the African continental market. This morning, we are here in Rundu, in the KAVANGO East region, following similar engagements earlier this week in Katima Mulilo and Kurenguru. As indicated earlier on, the idea is to engage our business people to understand their challenges, their pain points, and possibly to hear also the inputs on the type of support you will require to take advantage of this opportunity. At this juncture, let me indicate that the live streaming will only cover the open session up until the vote of thanks. And after that, we will have to excuse our media partners and dive right into the closed session for question and answer session. With that said, let's get the ball rolling and request His Worship, the Mayor of Rundu, Councillor Gabriel Kanyanga, for the welcoming remarks.
Directors of ceremony, let me stand at the protocol as you are earlier alluded to. Nevertheless, let me single out to recognize the presence of our Honorable Minister who happened to be among us. We are talking about Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade. Let me also single out Honorable Nicolaus Ndumba, the Councillor of Rundu Local Authority, who happened to join me here, the Regional Coordinator of Swapo Party, Madam Otilia Shindui, who happened to be with us here, with any other political parties that are present, and association. Let me also recognize the presence of Madam Margaret Darosha Mate, our bishop, the spiritual leaders who happen to be among us. Master of ceremony, she took note that you did not offer her to give a prayer. Nevertheless, it's a live streaming. You will do that at the end of the meeting. Let me also use this particular opportunity to recognize the distinguished CEOs, representatives of private sectors, government officials, ministries and agencies, and everybody that was already identified by the Master of Ceremony. All of you feel welcomed. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, members of the media, good morning. We are not in a funeral. Good morning, house. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have to enjoy seeing our minister coming all the way from Windhoek to be with us in this chilly weather. Yeah, it is both honored and privilege for me to warm welcome everybody into Rundu town, particularly to this important ministerial, the regional and business engagement meeting. On behalf of the resident of Rundu, particularly in KAVANGO East region, We are delighted and honored to host this particular platform that brings the key players, government agencies, business leaders, and entrepreneurs into one roof where they will be engaging face-to-face in order for them to strengthen the foundation of our economic growth. I extend the deepest appreciation to the Ministry of International Relations and Trade in collaboration with the Ministry of Industry, Mines and Energy for bringing this critical dialogue for our people. We are particularly pleased to welcome Honorable Minister and together with his team delegation that are accompanying her in order to do this honest job whereby the government is being brought closer to our people to engage with the grassroots. KAVANGO East in particular, Rundu Town, is rich in diverse natural beauty and cultural heritage. The community that warms with a lot of untapped business opportunity. We are strategically allocated on the gateway of the northern region, the northern part of Namibia, to highlight a few closer to Bwabwata National Park, Caprivi Strip, and many other African countries that can play a key role in facilitating the trade and tourism and contribute significantly to the country's economic growth. We believe that the strategic collaboration between government, private sector, and local communities, it is a key to unlock the potential and to drive the sustainable economic growth in the country. I am informed that the collaboration of these two ministries, it means a lot to us, and it's to create a market access support product that we are producing locally in order for them to compete at the regional level, continental and global, as we have a vast opportunity that offers by the African International Free Trade Area. Hence, I believe this engagement will provide an excellent platform to share ideas and challenges, explore investment opportunity that aligns with our development effort with the national, continental, at the international goal and aspirations, particularly in support with the micro, small, medium enterprises, youth entrepreneurship, and job creation. As a mayor of this town, I pledge our full cooperation and readiness to support any positive initiative that uplift the livelihood of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to warmly welcome you all to this engagement. I wish you a fruitful engagement and deliberation during this particular time that we are given. Let us feel free as we are to engage the ministry, as the whole ministry now is in Rundu. We can sign all the checks here with the minister, the authorities here. Without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, let everybody feel welcome. I thank you.
Yeah, please give the Honorable Mayor another round of applause for welcoming us. So in Africa culture, you don't speak if you enter somebody's house and you are not welcome. So now we can freely engage because we feel welcomed. Thank you very much for that. So we have a brief program today. We'll have a number of presentations that will cover certain aspects of why we are here. So we will have a presentation about from international relations. We'll have a presentation from NAMRA, from the Ministry of Industries and Mines, and also we'll have a presentation from the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board as well. After that, we will go into engagement where we want you to express yourself in terms of the objectives that we've set out earlier. So before we get to that, let me then ask you to help me to welcome our keynote speaker for the day, and that is Honorable Selma Ashibala Musavi.
Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Morokeni, KAVANGO East Morokeni. And it's a pleasure to come back to Rundu. I think I must make Rundu my second hometown. When I was here, I think it was barely a week ago. It was nice and warm. What happened? Okay. Okay. While standing on the protocol that, am I this short? That has been so well established by our very able director of ceremonies, let me just, as protocol will demand, first refer to Your Worship, Gabriel Kanyanga, the Mayor, all councillors present, and also recognizing the entire leadership of KAVANGO East constituencies, the leadership and management of Rundu Town, traditional leaders, our spiritual leaders, thank you very much for coming, the senior government officials, the important constituency, the captains of industries and business leaders of both large, micro, small, and medium enterprises, members of the media who continue to assist us to disseminate information to the larger public, ladies and gentlemen. Your Worship the Mayor, let me thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's Friday morning, a chilly morning indeed, and the hall is full. I would want to thank everybody for having graced this occasion with your presence. Mayor, we really thank you for the leadership shown in facilitating this very important engagement. We applaud you together with the entire member leadership, and from our part also as the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, together with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, we stand ready to work together with the leadership of this town and the region to make sure that the national priorities that our President, Her Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has set will be realized for the well-being and for the improvement of the livelihoods of the people of this region and the nation at large. The objective of the regional business consultative engagements, as it has been mentioned, that I and my team are undertaking is for a good cause. It's to enable us to engage, put our minds together on how to harness the potential of KAVANGO East region. When our president took the reins of the highest office in the land, she restructured government ministries. She made government a bit leaner by creating the Ministry of International Relations and Trade on the one hand, and the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy on the other. While the Ministry of International Relations and Trade is tasked with international relation, promotion of trade both within Africa and beyond, as well as attracting foreign direct investment, the Ministries of Industries, Mines and Energy is mandated with the possibility of industries, internal trade, including internal market regulations, SMEs and MSMEs. Why I'm referring to this distinction or division of labor is to enable all of us to know where to address our queries. Because we realize as we go around the regions, that issue has not been clarified. So those are the distinct mandates of the two ministries. However, because the mandates are also interrelated, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy and I have decided that in engaging the private sector in all our 14 regions, we will partner together. Because in order for the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, which is responsible for creating market access for our products, in order for us to do so, it means somebody in the country have to produce the products, have to create the services. That's why we are doing it together. Now, you also recall that the government has prioritized 7 national priorities. And let me just quickly go through those ones. First is agriculture, sports, youth empowerment, quality education and training, creative industries, quality health and social welfare, and land, housing and sanitation. And there are also enablers to these national priorities, which are green hydrogen, oil and gas, mining, and tourism. You can clearly see that agriculture has topped the list, followed by youth development agenda, whether in terms of sports and other related empowerment, such as creative industries. And I know that East KAVANGO region can play a part. You have the potential of optimizing either all of the 7 national priorities or most of them. And that is what we want to discuss this morning. Most of the related queries emanated from the regions where we have been. Agriculture and market access has featured prominently. This indicates that our people have the zeal to produce, but often are facing challenges that constrain their potential and that of their region's competitive advantages. You may also recall that the theme of the 8th administration, unity in diversity, natural resource beneficiation, and youth empowerment for sustainable development. That is the theme that continues to guide as we execute our national priorities. I must mention that it's very important that as we are talking about unity in diversity, Namibia's 14 regions are diverse in economic and investment opportunities they offer. As I said earlier, we are here to explore and to put our minds together on how we together can optimize the strength of KAVANGO East region, thereby harnessing the diverse but collective strength of all the 14 regions of our country, creating viable solutions that benefit the entire country. Our continental leaders and the current leadership have noted with great concern that Africa is lagging behind. Africa is lagging behind because we continue to export our wealth while importing poverty. What am I talking about? When we export our timber, when we neglect our agricultural products, when we neglect the innovative capabilities of our young people, others are coming here to take advantage of those opportunities. That's why we need to stop sending out raw materials and add value. We need to think locally as inhabitants of KAVANGO East region, but act continentally. It is high time that we think about regional value chains. Regional value chains. Regional in terms of the SADC region and continental in terms of the entire Africa. Namibia was one among the first countries to ratify the African Continental Free Trade Area. Therefore, we must also be among the first ones to benefit from these instruments. I'm happy to inform that we have already started participating. Last month, I think a month ago, we exported our salt to Nigeria and Cameroon under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Yesterday, as I was driving from Katima Mulilo to go to Nkurenkuru, it was a very beautiful sight. Everywhere it was timber, timber, timber. And as I started nearing Nkurenkuru, it was what I called the green carpet. Spinach, spinach, spinach. So we now need to think, how can we add value to some of those products? And there's a lot that we can do. And we will be talking about some of those things. In fact, the African Union has decided that Africa must at least add value to 20% of its raw product. But we are not there yet. So we really need to do more. On youth empowerment, Africa, what makes Africa and Namibia attractive is not only the natural resources that we have. It's also because we have a youthful workforce. How do we equip our young people with the necessary skills? And how do we make that the young people who already have the skills are not sitting idle at home? I really, for one, believe that even people who are living in poverty, they have ideas of how to escape that poverty. The problem is usually the means, and this is where government comes in. And the means are not always financial. The means are not always financial. We just have to be creative in thinking, and so that we can make a difference in our lives. Now, this is the 5th regional business engagement with the private sector, including SMEs. As it has been mentioned, it's a collective undertaking. That's why we have NAMRA here also, to explain. I know there are SMEs and MSMEs which are crying. So, we want to wipe those tears. That's why we brought them here, so that you can hear from them. I do travel, and I really see how our SMEs are struggling. They go elsewhere to get their goods, and when they come here, they meet, disappointment. I think we can do something about that. We need to empower our own people. Now, as we have been going around the region, somebody said, why do you keep on coming to regions? We are talking and talking, nothing is happening. We have to continue to talk. The fact that others have been coming to the region and maybe not much has happened, we then now need to ask ourselves, what is it that we need to do differently? And that is why we are here. Maybe we have not been talking about what we need to talk about. And this is why we have decided we are going to have an open session. The answering and questioning will be in a closed session because we want us to be free. This is our country. Let's talk about issues the way we see them, because I did not come here just to collect challenges. I know the challenges. I'm Namibian. The answers, I believe, are also here in KAVANGO West, because you live here. You know that KAVANGO East, I'm sorry. You live here. You know it's because I was in the other region yesterday. You know what needs to be done, and more importantly, you know the opportunities. So you can say, government, you have been engaging us, but maybe you have been overlooking these opportunities. That is what we want to do this morning. Our colleagues will talk about the African Continental Free Trade Area and all the other regulations that government has put in place. But I really need to emphasize that government is only responsible for putting in place appropriate and conducive environment. It is the private sector that create wealth. And because we know that, that's why we say we need to work together. We need to listen to the private sector to hear that in order for us to meet you halfway by creating wealth, by raising the living standards of the people, government needs to do more in this sector. And this is why I'm really looking forward to our engagement. Finally, because as I said, we did not come here to lecture anybody, we came here to listen and to have a conversation. Let me just end, Your Worship the Mayor, by saying that we hope that this is just the beginning of our engagement with the private sector of KAVANGO East. We have a beautiful country. We have a peaceful country. We have a country with abundant opportunities. We simply need to optimize those opportunities to make sure that everybody's dream is met, to make sure that we create a better life for this generation and future generation, to make sure that we all benefit for the natural endowment that our Lord has endowed us with. Thank you very much, and I really look forward to engaging you during the answer and question session. Thank you very much.
Yes, you may be seated. Thank you very much. I think the Minister has crystallized it, the reason why we are here, and what are the expected outcomes from this engagement. So, KAVANGO East, the ball is in your court. Now, we will move on and go into what we call the presentations. And the first presenter will be Mr. Sakios Kapenda, who will give us an overview of the Africa Free Trade, Continental Free Trade Framework. Mr. Kapenda, please, the floor is yours. He's vertically advantaged.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremony, Mr. Muranda. First, let me recognize the presence of my Honorable Minister and His Worship, the Mayor of Rundu town. I also want really to recognize everybody present, and thank you very much for coming. I also want to recognize the presence of Ms. Anthony Fall. Honorable Minister, in your speech, you said that most of the related queries that prominently featured were agricultural related. So Mr. Anton Fall is from our Agriculture Trade Forum, so he will now able to assist in some of this engagement. Thank you very much. Yeah, of course, my minister has spoken that our mandate is really to advance our external trade, to make sure that we are able to trade beyond the Namibian borders. And what I'm going to take you through is the African Continental Free Trade Agreements that we are party to and we are ready to trade. But what we have discovered is that sometimes we need to take our people through for them to understand this too. When we are talking about free trade agreements, what does it mean? Of course, the free trade agreement is just an engagement between member states. It can be two, it can be more. They agree to liberalize tariffs or to eliminate or to phase down the import duties that you do encounter at the borders. Okay? Of course, you might know that Namibia, we belong to SACU, the arrangement that comprises of South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Eswatini, and Lesotho. And we are also party to the SADC. Ne? But the SACU is a deeper integration because this one is a customs union, meaning that products that are coming into SACU member state, perhaps coming through our border, Angola, they will only charge duties at one point of entry. Then that collection will go to the, what we call a revenue pool for the entire SACU region. But we do have also the SADC configurations, where we have about more than about 15 to 60 member states. Of course, we know that Angola and DRC were not really fully participating in this agreement, but Angola has now submitted their offer. So they are under consideration. We'll soon be able to trade with Angola duty-free. And there's also another agreement that has been negotiated. It has entered into force. It's just waiting for certain cosmetics to be done so that the trade could commence. It's known as the EAC SADC COMESA Free Trade Agreement. It's known as tripartite. When you look at the continent, from down top on the right-hand side, Cape to Cairo, as we say, that whole area on the right it has entered into a free trade agreements. Of course, we have now the large continental free trade agreements where we are ready to do trade. Now, how does the free trade agreements work is that the member state or the parties to that agreement, they have to agree, they have to identify the list of products to be traded duty-free. Because you have your products, what we call offensive interests, which you seek to penetrate other markets with. But you also have your defensive interests, your sensitive sector that you want to protect. Those sensitive sector, you might not want to open up. You might want to say, look, KAVANGO is we have already timber. Hence, we, as Namibia, when you are negotiating these free trade agreements, please don't allow the importation of timbers into Namibia to be duty-free so that we protect our sectors. Do you understand, right? Okay. Now, another component that really comes with a free trade agreement is that your products now to be able to be traded duty-free, meaning that when you are bringing them to the border or you are exporting them, for the duties to be exempted, they have to be declared as originated products. That what we call, they have to meet the rules of origin as originated products. Because products that are not originated from those trade agreements, from those trade arrangements, they will still attract the duties, they won't qualify. So, of course, we have colleagues from NAMRA. Mrs. Alexia Hoveka, she will talk to you about more on the rules of origin. So now, as Namibia, we have submitted our offers, tariff offers. We have identified the products that we want to be liberalized, together with our party SACU, because we do have this common negotiation mechanism, and our offers of about 90% of the products that we want to be liberalized has been gazetted. We are ready to trade. And my minister has spoken that the first consignment went already under this agreement. And also to inform you that before we even commence trading officially with the launching of that consignment, our products like beef from Katima Muliro Abattoir, we already went to Ghana. And that was facilitated when our minister was the Higher Commission of the Republic of Namibia to the Ghana. So she is the one who facilitated that market access. And really, we are so excited to have her on board because she's on top of our toes to make sure that we continue to advance market access for our products. So what I want to take you through, just this Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement that we are talking about here, so that you are able to exploit opportunities presented by this agreement. My presentations is structured as follows: to talk about our mandate as a Minister of International Relations and Trade, to speak a bit of background about this AfCFTA and what is covered by that agreement, the status of negotiations, the status of implementation, and the potential benefits and the challenges, and also to talk about trading services. Because we know that for you now to have your goods to be able to enter those markets, you need services, right? The products don't move on their own. You need the logistics, you need transport, you need communications. All those things, they are known as trading services. The mandate, of course, my minister has already spoken, and because of the time constraint, we are only given 5 minutes, or perhaps the director is lenient on us today. We still have 15 minutes. 10? Oh, okay. So yeah, just to take you through to say that we are really mandated on the international trade. For us is to find market access for Namibia products elsewhere in the world. But the starting point also, before you start exporting, you must also meet certain conditions, market access conditions and requirements. And you must also start trading at home for you to establish yourself in the local market. That's why we do have Mr. Shinyara from the Ministry of Industries, Mines, Energy, who is tasked with that SME development. This agreement, the Continental Free Trade Agreement, comprised of about 55%, and it's aimed at creating a single market for goods and services. Of course, as a country, we have signed this agreement, we have ratified it. It means that we are part of the agreement and we are able to trade. So the trading under this arrangement is started on the 1st of January 2021. So I have already spoken about the objectives of the agreement to say that it really aims at addressing the constraints that are facing exporters, whether tariff-related issues, either to reduce or to phase them down, or to consider other non-tariff measures or any other challenges that has nothing to do with the custom duties, so that we make sure that the products move freely and seamless, especially at the point of entry and exit, to ensure that it's facilitated, goods are able to move fast. That's the objective of that Continental Free Trade Agreement. Of course, our leaders, the leaders of the continent, when they realize that, no, look, when it comes to the intra-Africa trade, we are trading very minimal among ourselves, but we are trading more with the rest of the world. Europe, about 65%. When we look with Asia, about 50%. But among ourselves, it's only about 15%. It was minimal. Then they decided to say that, look, let's come up with this Continental Free Trade Agreement so that we are able to trade among ourselves. Okay? So, of course, the continent now, as we speak, it is about 1.4 billion, which is a large really market for our products, provided we exploit this opportunity to be able to provide goods and to produce, so that we take advantage to trade under this arrangement. As business communities, you can now enter into partnership with investors. Of course, Mr. Moranda from the board, Investment Promotion Board, will also talk to you about on the investment, so that now when you have now partnered with the investors and they start producing goods here, those goods, if they happen to meet the criteria as originated from Namibia, you will be able to trade them on the continent. This agreement covers various protocols on trade in goods that we are talking about. There's also a trade in services. There's also a protocol on women and youth. So meaning that the women and youth, they will also be advanced for them to do business within the continent. There's also the protocol on the intellectual property rights to ensure that our innovations are protected, to ensure that what we are going to discover, what we are discovering, nobody will be able to steal from them from us. I gave an example in Katima Muriro because that region is known really for devil's claw, and I also believe in this region, perhaps we do have those products, right? But when you look at the healing component of that devil's claw, we don't own it. It is patented by certain member states in the world. So those are the things we want to protect, to say that things that we have discovered, our innovation, we have to protect them. Because under intellectual property rights, even the geographical indicators of the location where the products emanated is also one of the provisions. How do you ensure that these products belong to you? We also, the agreement also has the protocol on investment, how to attract investment, and also on the digital trade and e-commerce. Because colleagues and the business community, countries that are doing so well in trading, or companies that are doing so well in trading are those that are doing e-commerce or trading online, right? You know, the likes of the Alibaba, the Amazon, and so on. But also in Namibia, we have SMEs that who came up with platforms to facilitate trade. Those are the likes the Tulande, you can Google Tulande, Katuka. You're able to trade. You don't need a fiscal space for you to have your products. You just market them online, then the customers will be able to contact you and you do business. We have also the protocols on the rules and procedures that mean that, Mr. Moranda, mean that when you're now doing your business and you encounter challenges, you're able now to, how do you reach a settlement of those disputes? Okay, lastly is a competition policy so that we protect our goods. Of course, now for us now to ensure that we implement this Continental Free Trade Agreement fully, we have a developed implementation strategy and the action plan. And there's also an implementation committee comprised of various stakeholders in place to ensure that we take advantage of this agreement. Of course, it creates market access opportunities for you to have more export opportunities, and also to consider and eliminate those tariff barriers that we spoke about. Because of the time, the challenges perhaps that could be associated with this free trade agreement is that when you are in the small economy and you belong to the large market, right, where you have strong economies in the continent, the likes of Algeria, the South Africa, because you also opened up market access for their products into your market, you might face competition. Ne? Because they have opened up market access for your products in their countries, you have also opened up market access for their products in your country. So now for us now to be able to safeguard ourselves against unfair trade practices, the ministry has developed a bill which is in the very, very now advanced stage, so that we are able to establish our tariff management body in accordance with our Article 14 and 11 of the SACO agreement, which require to say that for you now to be able to protect your industry against unfair trade practices, you must have a body in place, you must conduct investigation and really determine whether those import surge or the goods that are perhaps dumped in your market, they cause injury. I'm rushing because of the time. One of the challenges also could be a loss of revenue to customs. NAMRA is here because those products will now enter the countries duty-free, meaning that they are no longer going to pay import duties, only the VAT. Yeah, so we have several websites there, if you're able to see, but we are also going to share with you this presentation so that you're able to go through those websites that we put there. When you face challenges and you want to find out more, or even to log complaints, you can always register your complaints on those systems. One more thing that perhaps we forgot to mention is that we have also developed an online trade portal, the National Trade Portal, in line with Article 1 of our trade facilitation, to make information available on the internet. Once you log on that trade portal, you will be able to get all the information. How do you apply for import? How do you apply for export? All the information. And one more thing that perhaps I forgot to mention, in order to facilitate your businesses, our ministry, they are issuing import and export permits online. Yeah. We do issue permits online. In fact, I'm the one who's signing on behalf of the ministry. You're able to engage me now if you want import permits or export permits. So that, lastly, towards the end, really, it's only that, as we mentioned, that we have also trading services. We have liberalized those financial services, the communication, tourism, transportation, and business services. So, yeah, that's it for now. We engage afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kabande. I wanted to actually, because you wanted to sign something, I wanted to give you extra minute or two, but thank you for complying with the directive. Next up is a presentation by the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, and guess who is going to do that one? Yours truly. Yeah, so the clock starts now, so we will continue. Maybe just a bit of context in terms of where we are coming from. As far as the national statistics are concerned, 36.9% of our Namibians are unemployed. Particularly the youth, around 46% of them. Yesterday we were in KAVANGO West, and the governor indicated there that it's 52% of the region's inhabitants are unemployed. I'm not sure whether the statistics, as far as the KAVANGO East is concerned, so, but that is where we are coming from. More or less the same. All right. Close to 60, so it's even higher than KAVANGO West. Wow, okay. So in terms of the inequality that we are looking at, nationally our Gini coefficient is standing at 0.57. So the higher you go with that, the higher the inequality. The lower you go, the lower the inequality it is. 47.5 Namibians are either monetarily or multidimensionally poor. That means that some of the people are really beyond or below the poverty line. So as a mandate of the NIBDB, the idea is, or the mandate is basically investment promotion, development and facilitation, as well as MSME development. So what do they do? What do we do? The reason why we exist is to unlock investments, investment opportunities for inclusive growth, And we do that through the facilitation of trust relationships to attract and retain sustainable investments for inclusive economic growth. So what you see there on the slide is basically the strategy. That's a one-pager that explains what is it exactly that we do. The role of the business, and this is, since we are talking to the business people, what is your role in this ecosystem? The role of a private sector is vital, like the minister earlier on indicated, for employment creation. You are the primary engine for job creation, for growth, for economic development, as well as to reduce poverty. By providing jobs, the private sector empowers individuals and communities to improve their living standards and to contribute to the economy. Government plays a crucial part in supporting this process by fostering a favorable environment for business to thrive. Why is local business important? It is important because it's leveraging investment to grow the economy. It is about developing and growing and increasing productivity of local business. Also, local businesses de-risk an economy in a manner that government and foreign enterprises cannot. As we indicated earlier on, we are going to share, I hope everybody is registered, we are going to share these presentations to have everybody on email so that you can actually peruse it also at a convenient time for yourselves. So what are these business and what are the benefits of local businesses? It's a tool for building the know-how of effective business management skills and to achieve intergenerational transfer, building wealth, and also in the long term, closing the inequality that we just spoken about at the beginning. Of course, local businesses pay dividends to their members of the community who are more likely to spend that money locally and keeping the money circulating in the country, in the town, in the villages, which creates self-sustaining cycle, supporting other businesses and individuals. But what is the role then of foreign direct investment? Our main objectives as NIBDB when we are focusing on attracting FDI is one, for us to be able to create jobs, for us to be able to enable local supply chain development. So even investor come, they open or set up a project, obviously there will be downstream activities that would be required, whether it's logistics, whether it's catering, whether it's supply of goods and services. So all those are downstream activities that are coming, and once you have enabled that, local SMEs are tapping into that market, and obviously it's creating jobs. Although the investor project would have created jobs, these SMEs that are also tapping into that ecosystem are also creating, so there's a multiplier effect in that sense. Import substitution, we are looking at that. Technology absorption, regional development, and productivity gains. So when we're looking at the regions, for instance, when we are engaging the investors, we want to, and one of the reasons why we are here is also we want to know what is it that is unique for Kavango East. What is your unique selling point? What is it, that thing that we can say, Kavango East, this is standing. If you come here, and if we are profiling Kavango East, this is what we can find, this is what we can sell. Of course, there's a project, a big one that we'll also talk about, that at least is coming from Kavango East, that part of the facilitation of NIBDB is standing and is creating employment, and it is running well. I'll skip the understanding around it. In terms of maybe just touching on the types of different investors we find out there in the market. There are those investors who are looking at resource-seeking investors. Their focus is on the country's endowment. For instance, for the Kavango East region, they're looking at the water, they're looking at the fertile soil, they are looking at timber, for instance. Some of these are the climatic conditions, how the region is endowed naturally. There are investors that are focusing on that. Then you have got efficiency-seeking investors, and their focus is really on the cost of production, on the ease of doing business. Then you have the third level, that is knowledge-based investors. Their focus is on skills, on innovation. And then the last one is market-seeking investors. Those ones are looking for market and off-takes, where if they set up, they want to know that there are people that can actually buy those things. I think among the things that the minister indicated earlier on is that Namibia is a very stable political environment. We've got good policies, we've got good infrastructure. So there are critical success factors that any investor in everywhere in the world is looking. Does this country have this? And these are the critical success factors that the investor would be looking to tick off and make a decision whether they are coming to your location or not. I'll not go through all of those. But as NIBDP, we are a government vehicle that grows the economy by supporting the growth, development, and productivity of business. Some of the priority sectors, I'll not go through all of them, like the minister indicated earlier on, is energy, whether it's green hydrogen, whether it's oil and gas, or whether it's renewable. Food industry, that's a focus or a priority sector. Culture and creative industry is a priority sector. Tourism and sports is also a priority sector. So what do we do when we speak about building a conducive environment? So NIBDP serves on various committees, policy advocacy platforms to make sure that we look after the investor from the time that he or she enters and after the project has become a reality, also providing aftercare services. So those are some of the services that we provide in terms of policy environment, in terms of ease of doing business, in terms of public-private forum, and the productivity task force. If you look at the investment pipeline, currently what we have is about 224 million worth of pipeline of investments that we currently have. The main sectors is agriculture, about 27%, renewable energy around 26%, and then the rest goes down up to around oil and gas, that is 2.9%. If you look at the projects that are in final investment decision-making for foreign direct investment, currently those are the regions. KAVANGO East, I don't see, but KAVANGO East is actually having one that has taken off. So these ones are in the pipeline. So we have what we call investments in the pipeline. Those are investment leads, that's when we start engaging. Investment in the pipelines, those are where significant progress has been made, and then investments that have realized. Those are projects that have now started operating. So what is our response to the needs of MSMEs and local investors? Basically what we do for local entrepreneurs and local investors, we have got what we call an initiative called Scale Up Namibia, where we are looking at MSMEs and we provide them with capacity building, take them through the process so that they are able to scale up their operations. With the view that if they scale up, eventually they can supply the Namibian market, but also to be able to export outside. We also have got investment propositions, and if you visit our website, you can actually familiarize yourself with the variety of projects in terms of business ideas that are there. Basically, those are, we normally issue a call for proposals, and these propositions are then vetted, and then we put them on the website, and that's now, once we have put them on the website, we then actively work to try and secure investors for them. So if you have a project that you want, you can contact our offices, and then we can see how we can vet you and then put your proposition also on that. The rest of the things, maybe the one that is more relevant is meet the buyer, because wherever we went, like the Honorable Minister said earlier on, it's the issue of agriculture, where people are having issues with market access. So what we do, we have an initiative, and it has taken place in Windhoek. I think we want to take it also to the regions, where we bring together all the big retailers, the Chobises of this world, the Spars of this world, these ShopRites of this world. Then we identify local SMEs, whether it's in agricultural sector, whether it's craft, manufacturing. The idea is meet the buyer, understand what are the requirements for you to put your product on their shelves, and then we connect them. So basically, that's an initiative that is ongoing. So just to show you some of the success stories, Your Kitchen is a project with investment value of 17 million, located in Windhoek, created about 40 jobs. We have clean energy in Walvis Bay, Erongo region, investment value of around 500 million. Then this is the one I was talking about. I think maybe the focus there is that Namibia Berries was launched, I think 2023, facilitation also done through NIPDB. 1.1 billion over the next 7 years that will be invested. Currently, there are 500 jobs, permanently, 850 seasonal. Yeah, and then what is there on site is packing and cooling facilities. So you can see the number of employment that has been created through this project. Then we have the Northern Grey project, the High Iron project, as well as the Kelp Blue project. If you go more south, Benguela Blue Aqua Farming, it's a salmon project in Lutrets. We've got Poronex in Ochivarango, as well as the Noble Carbon Farming also in the south of this country. So that would be our story. I hope I managed and led by example to be within the 15 minutes given. If you have more information or want to get more information, you can visit us on that website. And after this event, we will also be available for further engagement. Thank you very much. Next up is a presentation by the Namibia Revenue Agency, NAMRA. And for that, please put your hands together for Ms. Alexia Hovega.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, His Worship, Mayor of Rundu, Mr. Gabriel Kanyanga, kindly allow me to stand by the protocol as established and observed earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alexia Hoveka. I'm from Namibia Revenue Agency, Directorate Customs and Excise, Subunit Rules of Origin. Our role under the Subunit Rules of Origin is to ensure the correct implementation of trade agreements. By so doing, we capacitate stakeholders, including customs officials at the border, especially at the border, to be able to understand the requirements of the particular agreements and henceforth facilitate the trade accordingly. We also capacitate traders for them to be able to understand their product requirements and the rules of origins to be followed when exporting under trade agreements. Today we are talking about the requirements for the AfCFTA. Right. Am I supposed to do it myself? Okay. Right. Now, one will wonder what are these rules of origin? Rules of origins are the rules of engagement in all agreements. They are the basis of implementation and negotiations of trade agreements. So what do they do? The rules of origin determine the economic nationality of the product. For that particular product to be able to acquire or to enjoy tariff preference in the partner state of an agreement, in this case, partner state of a African Continental Free Trade, being Nigeria, Egypt, and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, just my apology, my presentation is long. Just allow me to cover most of the topic in one go. I'm sure as we go, you will be able to understand what we discussed earlier. So, the rules of origin are determined according to two major criteria, which are wholly obtained and substantial transformation. So what are the wholly obtained products? It is our grapes, they're from Oceancare, our beef from our animals, not animals that came from somewhere else, but beef from our local animals. Our fish obtained from our sea, or sometimes obtained by their vessels in high seas, is also regarded as wholly obtained from Namibia. So, under substantial transformation, we are talking about manufactured product. So in this case, if you need to manufacture a certain product, for instance, a pen or a shirt or shoes, you are allowed, in some instances, you are allowed to import inputs from elsewhere, whether it is within the continental territory or outside the territory, to a certain extent. So according to the product, you are allowed to import a certain amount. For instance, if we say you can only use 60% local material, then the rest you can import it from somewhere else. So our section will go through your processes when you are a manufacturer and assess whether you meet all those rules. And for instance, if you are allowed to only use 60% local materials and you happen to use inputs of maybe 40.2%, we might disqualify that product of not being of Namibian origin. So that is what we might, we might. Okay, that's what we mean by substantial transformation. Sometimes you are allowed to import inputs from anywhere in the world. It is an open import, as long as a final product will change face. Like for instance, if you import ink, at the end of the day, your objective is to manufacture a pen. So it can be from anywhere, as long as a final processing happen in Namibia, you are allowed, as long as a final product change face. That's what we call change in tariff heading. All right, I won't delve into so many. So now, after your product passed the test of wholly obtained and substantial transformation, NAMRA will be able, you have to approach NAMRA, and then you are required to register with NAMRA as an exporter. So that's where rules of origin comes in, section rules of origin comes in. You have to approach us for registration requirements after your product passed the test of the two main criteria. As I alluded earlier, we will conduct site verification to observe your processes and assess whether you meet the origin criteria. So that's what NAMRA will do. And if you feel like you are ready to export, you have to come to NAMRA, approach our subunit, again, rules of origin, and provide us with a brief company profile, just to tell us briefly what is your company all about. And where required, you need an export permit. The proof of right holding is mainly for those vessel holders, what we call their vessels. If you are renting a vessel also, or you have a quota, so you have to provide that proof of right holding from the Ministry of Fisheries. And you need proof of identity. It can be your ID or your passport. And you need to be in good standing with NAMRA. That's one of the basic requirements. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, I am done. I am done, but I need to show you the certificate of origin. So who issued the certificate of origin? Under any trade agreement, it is only NAMRA who is the competent authority to issue the certificate of origin. You will get that certificate from nowhere else, only with NAMRA. Then that certificate is authentic. If not from NAMRA, then that certificate is not authentic. So NAMRA is also the authority that endorses that certificate of origin. No other stamp is required on that certificate of origin. In customs at the borders, we have those authorized customs officials at the border who will endorse the certificate of origin. Yes, and then you will be issued with 2 copies for the consignment and for your file. And at the end of the day, this is a certificate of origin you need to use for your exports. So what is the purpose of this certificate of origin? Is for the exporter to acquire that tariff preference. If you have this certificate of origin with all the other custom documentations into the AfCFTA partner state, your products will enjoy either reduced duties or zero duties, because each and every product has got their own rules. Some products are already zero rated, some still have duties that are being phased down gradually. So that is a certificate of origin available with NAMRA. For further information, if you need more training regarding the rules of origin, we are just an email away. You can just email our Tatesema, the commissioner, and then he will come to your premises or wherever you want us to be to train you more on the rules of origin. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Namra. I think you still have data left. You didn't exhaust everything. But thank you very much for complying. I'm informed that our first citizen has got another commitment at 11. I think we are doing well, trying to catch up with what we have. So up next would be Mr. Pinia Shinyala from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, and for the presentation. The clock starts now.
Good morning. I am scared my clock started before I start. But yeah, it's okay. I try to make sure that my presentation is as short as possible. Honorable Minister, I recognize your presence among us, and I also stand in the protocols already observed. Thank you very much, and good morning. My name is Phineas Shinyala, and I'm from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. Yeah, I am told to be very, very fast. I don't know how I can do this, but I will try my best. Our presentation follows those guidelines, and we are going to speak mainly on the industrialization policy and the programs within the industrialization policy. Introduction, I skip, and I should state that the industrialization policy of Namibia has got two components. One component of large companies, manufacturing companies, and the one component for SMEs. So for the part of the large companies, we have got the Namibia industrialization policy of 2016, and is also accompanied by the growth at home strategy, as it is implementation strategy. But apart from that, we also have elements that we call loose elements within the policy. So industrial policy was accompanied by EPZ regime, which is now being phased out, and instead of it, we are replacing it with the special economic zones policy, which is already completed and approved by cabinet. We are now busy preparing the bill, and in that process we are able to complete the bill this year, so we are able to move forward. Within that, we also have the SADC industrial policy as a sub-policy for industrialization for big companies. For smaller companies, we call them small or micro, small and medium enterprise policy and programs. We also have within that Namibia informal economy, startups and entrepreneurship development policy. We move to the programs that are within the industrial policy for big companies. The first program is Science and Premises program. This is the program within which we build industrial parks and the SME parks. Again, I should also inform that under this program, we have already completed 148 SMEs and industrial parks countrywide. So, despite the problems that we are facing with NIDA and so on, the program is still relevant and is out to continue. The second program is Industrial Development or Industrial Upgrading and the Modernization Program, IOMP. So this is also for large manufacturers. The intention or the objective of this program is to support technology upgrading, certification, and specialized skills within those big companies. Last year, 2023-2024 financial year, we supported 14 companies, and this year, 2024-2025 financial year, we have already received 723 applications, and these are being processed. IOMP has also targeted priority sectors: agro-processing, including meat, indigenous food, and the horticultural processing, leather and the wood and the wool products, fish processing, pharmaceuticals, including cosmetics, minerals processing. The last program in here is special economic zones. It is in a draft bill form, and the elements we are considering are those displayed. In one side, we are saying we need these investors. It can be local or international investors to come into Namibia and be able to benefit us through the elements of investment to grow the economy, create jobs, skills transfer and development, also local linkages to support our SMEs, and also we want also green industries. This is what we require from them. And then on the other hand, we are offering them corporate tax rates reduced. We are offering them custom duties reduced. We are offering them VAT exemptions where possible, and we are offering them accelerated depreciation and the capital allowances. And we also trying to make sure that as they are doing their investment in Namibia, it should also be beneficial to our environment. Locations, yeah, we see Walvis Bay as a very attractive location, including Windhoek, northern areas where we are considering agro-processing facilities, and also linkages to our ports and the regional corridors. Otherwise, we also talk about elsewhere in Namibia. If the investor wants to locate in Lundu, we can still provide that status. Sectors, we are talking about renewable energy, green hydrogen, agro-processing and the food industries, mineral beneficiation and battery manufacturing, ICT logistics, and also Africa Continental Free Trade area platforms. And also we would want to extend this to our newly developing oil and gas sectors in the areas of industries and the infrastructure development. SMEs policy articulates the programs as we are displaying them here: equipment aid scheme, gemstone cutting and polishing training. This is a specialized skills training, value chain development in the MSME sector, and they will also now trying to expand the Impretech Namibia Entrepreneurship Training Program. These are the four SMEs. I'm very sure that the equipment aid scheme is very well known, and we are still making sure that we support enterprises with that one, the SME sector. And the gemstone, we are also busy at work. I think there is a training taking place in Caribbean, which is accommodating around 25 trainees, mainly youth and the women. We are hoping that after that intake, 6 months down the line, we will again have another 6 month intake. So our people get skills in gemstone cutting and polishing. Most of them are actually getting employment in diamond cutting and polishing factories around the country. In the interest of time, I am going to be very, because those are the things that I have just explained, maybe I can move to the conclusion. Yeah, much more resources are required for us to be able to implement these programs, and I am very happy that we are receiving quite significant interest in this, and we are also saying that the coordination between institutions in terms of policy and programs implementation is very important. But I wanted also to conclude by saying, you look at the presentations as they have been flowing, but one important element is that today's business is not something that you just do on your own and you think you are going to succeed. You need to acquire knowledge. You need to acquire understanding of processes. You need also to improve the quality of your products. And you can see that a lot of effort is placed on trading. You have to make sure that you have the quality standards. You have to make sure you have the understanding of the market you are approaching. You have to understand how you can deliver your product, how you can approach NAMRA. All this is for you to learn how to do these things, so you are able to deliver your product to the market. But most importantly, is for you to see what support systems are available by government, especially by the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, to support you to be able to produce that product. Because one component is production, and the one component is export markets or sales in local market. So you need to understand both and be able to do both in an efficient manner, so you succeed in the market. So after having said that, I thank my minister, I thank my master of ceremonies, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Please give him another round of applause, please. And we move on swiftly. We are done with the presentations. Those were just appetizers. We'll dive into you get it off the chest afterwards when we get into the question and answer session. Now it's my pleasure to call upon Mr. Geraldton Hilarius for the vote of thanks, Chairperson of NCCI Rundu Branch.
Honorable Minister, Your Worship the Mayor,
Yes, sir.
distinguished business leaders, thank you. Okay, I'll start again. Honorable Minister, Your Worship the Mayor, distinguished business leaders, our media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Geraldo is my name. I see on this program you say Geraldo, but it's Geraldo is my name. Hilarius is my surname. I'm the representative of the NCCI, which is the premier voice of business Namibia. We represent the business community, and I represent the business people in KAVANGO East region. On behalf of the team and all present, it is my distinct honor to deliver the vote of thanks at the close of this successful business engagement. I believe it will definitely be a successful one. First and foremost, we extend the deepest gratitude to the Honorable Minister for traveling very far, all the way from City of Lights, from Katima, all around Rundu. Minister, your presence and for sharing us your vision and your leadership. Your insights today have not only clarified the government's direction, but also ignite stronger sense of purpose among us business stakeholders. To your worship, the Mayor, thank you for your unwavering support and commitment to the local economic development. Your remarks reflected a deep understanding of the challenges and opportunities within our Rundu town, and we appreciate your readiness and to work hand in hand with the business community. And to our business leaders, to the business community, this morning I received a call from the colleagues from the ministry. They were asking me, oh, we are already here, but I don't see your people here. What is happening? Are they really coming? But of course, to the business leaders and entrepreneurs, we thank you for showing up. We really appreciate that. Not just with your presence, but with your ideas and questions that will be coming, and the spirit of collaboration. It is your innovation, investments, and resilience that will continue to drive this community, this economy in our Rundu town. Thank you so much. A heartfelt thank you to all our partners and the organizers, the colleagues, and the facilitators that are behind the scenes. We see we are live streaming. Your hard work made today's engagement not just possible, but an impactful. And this gathering will not just be a meeting, it's a step forward for strengthening ties between the public leadership and the private enterprise. And let us continue to build today's dialogue, transforming it into a meaningful action, sustainable growth of our community. So as we will be departing to our different destinations, so as we depart, may the connection we have made, we grow stronger, and may the partnership formed bear a lasting fruit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I think we have a problem with vertical advantages and disadvantages here. So let's just fix this one quickly. Thank you. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I think that brings us to the open session of the engagement. I want to thank the NBC for live streaming this event and bringing it to all the corners of Namibia and beyond. They have been our strategic partner and will continue to do that as we go and engage the rest of the other regions. That said, can I ask you to rise for the singing of the AU and national anthems?
Of the
Thank you very much. You may be seated. And this is where we say also goodbye to our online viewers.